Throwback Thursday review. Now, in these videos, I decided to kind of backtrack a couple generations on the PlayStation games, and I'm going to bring you played in the past that I thought was good at the time. One being Dark Cloud. Now, Dark Cloud was a horror. It's not. Dark Cloud is actually a Japanese RPG game. Came out, I'd say, in the early 2000s. I can't quite remember, because that's how long ago this game's been out. So 2001. Okay, but I'm going to go to one of my old files to show you guys this game. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I'm just going to do a review. And if you want to see footage of it, gameplays of it, just leave a like on the video, and also subscribe to my channel, guys, because I would love to do these things. Now, as you can see, the game's pretty simple. Back then, PlayStation 2 didn't have the greatest graphics, but for what it's got now, I say these graphics are great. Simple little graphics. Okay? This game, you have 6 party members. Each party member has their own unique type of weapon. For example, Toin, or who I named as Chaoz, uses knives, blades, swords, daggers, blade type weaponry. And as you can tell, the Dark Cloud here is the strongest weapon I have right now. I've literally worked on this weapon since, I say, the 2nd chapter of the game. And it doesn't go by chapters, but like once you complete a village, you go to the next village, and then you go to the next, and go to the next, go to the next. I'm on the last village before the end, and I kind of oopsed with the new character I got. I kind of let all his weapons break, which you have to watch out for. This is the type of RPG that you got to worry about not only health, you have to worry about water, stay hydrated, and you also got to worry about your weapons. Each weapon has a WHP, so the higher endurance and the higher WHP you have, the longer your weapons can survive in battle. As you can tell by my Dark Cloud here, it's got 101 attack, 99 endurance, 99 speed, 71 MP. Speed and endurance has been maxed out since the Serpent Blade, which is where it originated from. This is the second to last weapon. Each weapon has different branches to expand. For example, her double impact has one path to go. And anything in red literally shows you what you have to focus on. Now I'll go back to the Dark Cloud here and show you. This is how far I got it. I just gotta get MP and Undead topped out. Once those are done, I get the second strongest weapon in the game, which is known as the 7th Heaven, which all RPGs has a 7th Heaven type weapon in it. Final Fantasy especially. But the 7th Heaven in Final Fantasy is more for the fighters. But you have, like I said, the 6 different characters you have. You start off with Toin, which is this boy here. As you can tell, I named him Chaos. Then you get the Xio, I guess that's how you say her name, Xiao. I named her Ryo-Oki for the simple fact I'm a huge anime fan, and the anime I used to like watching growing up was Tenchi Muyo. And they had a little cat girl, or rabbit girl, they named Ryo-Oki. So I thought, with her being a little cat girl, she's cute, she's a little kiddish, slingshot user, Ryo-Oki. Then you have Goro, which is an axe wielder, hammer wielder, slow as can be. This dude is like the slowest character that you can have on your team. But as you can tell with the weapon he's got equipped, which is known as the Last Judgment, is probably the strongest weapon to have besides the Inferno, which is what I'm trying to work on getting, which is the Last Judgment's the second to last weapon. I found that one, which is pretty shocking to find that thing instead of building it up. And then you have a Ruby, or I like to name her Garnet. Ruby is a genie, uses nothing but magic. So all of her weapons are rings. Well, I would call them bracelets, but they're known as rings in the game. Then you have Gaga. I named him Adewale after Adewale from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Simple fact, the origin, and he is a very good pole-arm user. He's got the ability to blow away dark clouds that will block your path to open it up. And then we got, I forgot this dude's name already, and I literally just got him, but I named him Shinra because he looks like Shinra from Final Fantasy X. A little sci-fi looking dude, and he uses guns and magic bullet users. But I don't know how to consider them. But as you can tell, I literally just got him. I haven't gotten far with him yet. But each character has their own ability to use in the dungeons. That is the only place you fight monsters is in dungeons, and each dungeon has so many different floors. They are never the same. You can go on the same floor multiple times and the pathway always changes. There's at least 15 monsters per floor, so many chests. The whole purpose of the game is Toan has this amulet on his wrist, which, let me see if I can find, there we go. As you can see down here on his character himself, that little blue gem, that's known as the Atlamelia. The Atlamelia absorbs Atla, which in turn is homes, people, items. Pretty much you gotta rebuild the villages. Everywhere you go, villages have to be rebuilt. You start off in your home village, simple. It's a very rough start in the beginning of the game. And the reason why I say that is because you have no shops. You literally have to find the shops, repair the shops by putting the shop owner and all of his items he requests back in it, and be able to buy again. So in the beginning, until you find the odd gaffer, which is his name, an old coot who literally has like an old western style wagon shop, you gotta go see your mayor, who gives you 1 bread, 1 water, 1 antidote, 1 repair powder to repair your weapon, and an escape powder. You only get 1 of those. Now you can pick up more in the dungeons, or every time you place a building, you get chests. And in these chests could be anything from weapon improvements to restorative items to more weapons, or special treats that only specific characters can eat to increase their defense. The only way you can increase their defense is by them eating their favorite food. Now I want to show you, this is the very first village you create. I followed the design from the game itself, but each house, each building, each shop, you have to literally, I can go to the menu here, put every item that they request into it. And half the time there'll be question marks. You have to literally talk to that person who owns that house or lives in that building and see what they want. Like, first house you will ever complete within your first 2 floors of the dungeon in No Run Village is the Macho's house. And I think there's been times I was able to complete it on the first dungeon run or the second. On the first or second floor. But they're brothers. The older brother is shorter than the younger brother. But each one will say, I want this and this, and this and this. And so there'll be maybe 1 item you don't know you have to ask for. Others will be completely question marked out. But not only do you have these buildings, you also have additional buildings You have ponds, trees, roads, rivers, bridges, whatever to improve these villages. And it's pretty simple because when you talk to the homeowners, they will literally tell you, hey, I want to be by the pond because I like to go fishing every morning or every evening. So as long as I'm by the pond, I'm good. And you do have a diorama analysis, which, as you can see here, I got 100% completion. Collection, complete, and request. Collection, you'll always get 100%. Complete, you'll always get 100%. Request is the toughest one because you can get everyone happy and there's that one person who is not satisfied. And the first one you will deal with, and I say you will deal with, is this one right here, the old hag. The reason why is she wants to be in front of the Drawn's windmill. But if I picked her up and move her one block, there's literally laid out like a grid, one block away from there, she is not happy. She has to be dead on it. So there's been times I had her literally, like, she opens the front door, she can go down her steps and go up the steps into that windmill. I literally done it like that before. But every village is like that. You'll have one character that you have to have their building a specific way to get completion. And it is the most annoying part of this game. The other annoying part is your weapons breaking while you're in the middle of battle. But everywhere you go, you have dungeons. And there are bosses. There we go. Tongue-tied already. There are bosses in each one. There's also mini-bosses. Most of the time, the mini-bosses, the first 2 dungeons you do, which is one in Matataki Village and No Run Village, there'll be 1 to 2 floors that you'll have to do duels. What those duels are is you just have to push buttons and certain command and a bar that goes across your screen. So they literally, it's like Guitar Hero. Once they get to a certain spot, you have to hit that button. You do good, you do excellent. If you get complete, excellence, or perfects, pretty much you hit it right in the middle of that spot, you will get an item. You get a reward every time. If not, you win it. If you miss one button, the duel's automatically over. You don't lose, you don't die, you just restart. But this is pretty much everywhere I've been. Once I finish Yellow Drops, getting it complete, which is the Moon Factory, I get to go face the final boss. Once the final boss is fought, won, I've pretty much beaten the game. Now, I'm going to shoot to another village here. Queens. I've received villages. Every time you go into a village, you'll get a new character. No problem. And it depends on how far you go. Queens, for example, let me go to the overview. Pretty quaint little ocean town, you know. They got their own church, tower, and all this stuff. This one is probably the most annoying one to do because you have a wider area to rebuild. You have 3 different sections to rebuild, and it kills a lot of time having to walk from there to down here to down there. And give me 1 second. I will in a second, baby. And it just gets annoying to walk, so I always do the overlay here, the overview, where you can literally move around wherever you want and plant yourself. It's faster to get these buildings done. But there is some moments like right here, I can't literally plant myself on the ramp because it's not a building spot. Here, I can. So I would literally have to kind of walk my way back up there. Like I said, easy easy gameplay. It's very easy. It's just a very rough start at the beginning. Yeah, once you get your second character, which is Zio, I guess is how I'm saying her name right, and you get a better weapon for the main character, it gets easier. Once you open up a shop, it gets easier. Your first, until you get the shop open, you pretty much will have to complete a floor, leave, go recollect the items from the mayor, go back in, complete another floor, come back and forth, back and forth. Once you open a shop, you buy your own items. You could stay in the dungeons as long as you want until you either run out of items or you just want to say, you know what, I want to take a break, I want to step out, let me build some buildings and then go from there. So it's all different. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll hop back into the moon sea. That's the dungeon I'm on right now. I'm not going to do the floor I'm currently doing, because that's what each dungeon does. Certain floors that will only take certain characters, and it does get kind of annoying, especially if you haven't worked on them yet, which I recommend you work on them. And it's simple, just go back through the dungeons from the start, and just with just that character alone, just blow through it. Even if you don't find a weapon for them, you can power up their main weapon, their first weapon, which would never break, it would never disappear. I mean, it'll break, but it just won't disappear. And there you go. Towen is like a one-hit kill guy. But this is how the dungeons look. They all have their own paths. I always keep the Drawn's, once you have one, Drawn's Feather comes in handy, which is what I got highlighted in my inventory up top. It pretty much just doubles your speed, so you move faster. And for how long these dungeons are, some of these floors you can be in a hallway for a while, and it's more, I say, time consuming. But not like Final Fantasy where the character can only do one hit. Towen can do 5 hits before his speed bar runs out, which comes in handy and is very, very good. God, I've been up all night doing this. But all dungeons have a map. They have what's called a magical stone, which shows you where, like, this is the magical crystal. They'll show you where all enemies, chests, and Atla are. Red being the enemies, yellowish colors being chests, and then green dots being the atlas. There's no more atlas here up to the point I'm at because I've already got them. Oh look, my Drawn's Feather disappeared. And as you can tell, I have a lot of items. I'm so stocked up on Drawn's Feathers, it's unreal. I have no way to restore my weapon's health. But here, I've got multiple weapons for characters. I got their best weapons I could get. Down here, I gotta get him a new one because I just destroyed his. But then these are all the items you can use to enhance your weapons. Like right now, with my Dark Cloud, I don't worry about much of it because I don't have what I need. Like, I gotta work on the MP, the Undead, and I think that's it. MP and Undead. I think I got the elements done. I have none of those items, so I kind of just let everything build up. The anti, which is what you see here, the anti-effects, which doubles the damage on the enemies, the higher the number, the stronger it is against them, never improves when you upgrade a weapon, unless you have a stone equipped. Same with the elements, they don't improve. So it's best to throw something on to improve it. But the stats, the attack, endurance, speed, MP, those do increase. So I don't recommend throwing any of those on for a weapon that you can build up. Now your first weapon, throw status or the stats increasers on it. Because once you get a weapon to +5, that's when you can either do a status break which pretty much breaks the weapon down, and you can equip it to another weapon and increase its stats. But I think it only takes like 60% of that and add it to a new weapon. God, this witch is not stopping. That's the first time I ever seen a witch attack me that much. They normally hit and run. But you can tell I'm not scared. But this is how the dungeons are. There are monsters that are going to be tough to kill on your own. And you just got to be skilled. But Towen has two special abilities, which I call the Rough Divider, and then the Windmill. The Windmill comes in handy in the dungeon. Because if you remember at the start of this one, not the ladybug, but the little gremlin looking dude, the second dungeon is loaded with them. And you can get outnumbered fast with them surrounding you. And if they surround you, especially when 3 of them can do poison on you, the other 2 can steal your money. If you don't beat them fast enough, you lose everything. And it stinks. But, I mean, I say, all in all, gameplay is fantastic. Whether you're a big fan of RPG or not, this is a pretty easy game to play. A child can play it. Adults can play it. But this was one of my favorites growing up. Like this location here, I had to build a giant robot. And the only reason why I haven't placed anything in place yet is because once you have all the pieces, it is then better to put it down. Because you're just building a robot. And it's easier if we go, okay, here's the head, here's the chest, here's the legs, here's the... You got so many body parts you gotta collect. And of course, the atlas I still have for it, but every place else is already done. Like there's that, and then you got Muskaraka, which is a desert town. But to me, it is... I love it. I really do love this game. I can't get enough of it. I mean, I'm glad to be able to play it again without having a PlayStation 2. I'm actually playing this on PlayStation 4 now, because they now got PS2 to PS4. So, I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's a fantastic game. There are moments in this game, though, like that if you do die, you don't get a game over. That's the cool thing about it. You never, ever get a game over. If all characters are fainted, you just warp back into town. Restore health, and you just either stock back up or go somewhere else. But with me, what I normally do when I first played it, I was confused. Then I was like, okay, so I gotta increase the weapon to get stronger. So I'll go through with Towen to the point where Zayo gets her own floor. Once at that point, I go back through with Zayo and improve her weapon. So when she's there, she's stronger. Because you don't want to have a weak weapon at a higher dungeon. I can tell you that right now. It is probably the worst thing you can ever do. That is you asking for a death wish. Because you can't switch characters if it's a specific character floor. You cannot. Any other floor, you can. So I can use Towen if I have to jump at a certain spot, I can switch to Zayo and she'll jump for me. Or if I had to hit a switch, I can switch to Goro. The 6th character you get, like I said, I named him Shinra. I can't think of his name right offhand. He has the ability to glide, so throughout the whole course, he's just flying. He just flies through the course. You don't have to worry about nothing. So if there's a long gap, he just right on through. But each location, like I said, has so many interactive characters. Each one has a shop and so on and so forth. I got a bald spot on my mustache. I just now noticed that. You know, that I got something default spot. Okay. But there's some unique characters. Like, everyone in this village is a hunter, besides the dude who lives in the house way in the distance by some trees. He's a bard, so he doesn't hunt, but everyone else is a hunter. And then you get this dude. Couscous is his name, and Couscous is a giant whatever that is. I don't know what he is. I honestly don't know what he is. That's Couscous. So there's always one weird character in each location. There's also tons of things you can do. Every little spot here, you'll get multiple chests. At the beginning, like once you first place the property, you might get 1 or 2 chests. But as you finish it and improve the village, you get more. So there's always more chances to get more and more stuff. I normally don't hunt for them till like the very end, where I've already got everything else completed. Then I can just kind of go through and go, okay, I can now improve my defense, improve this, or stock up on this. Some shops will carry weapons, like this dude in here, Mr. Wise Owl himself, or aka Mr. Mustache, because he got a mustache and is an owl. When you complete his shop, he gives you a sword, but he won't give you the sword because he wants to sell you the sword, the Wise Owl sword. So you can buy weapons, but you don't buy a lot of them. Only a few locations you can buy a weapon, and it's only for specific characters. So it's not like you can go, oh wait, I need to get a hammer for this dude, or I need to get her slingshot. No, them you have to find. Other situations, when you go in dungeons, you'll find specific items for certain spots in the dungeons. So in the first dungeon, you have tram oil, which you'll see trams within the first dungeon. And what those trams do is once you use that oil, that tram will take you to what's called the back rooms. The back rooms is where you can find like the anti-breakers, the anti-stones, or you find gems. Gems would be like named after birthstones, the amethyst, the Aquarius, opal, all that. Those stones, I recommend, if you play this game, I recommend you get them. They improve your weapon stats significantly. You might get 1 or 2, so it's not always a guarantee you're going to get one, but most, and half the time it's the ones you don't need, but still good to get them. But you find those and you can build up your weapon so fast that you can be untouchable throughout the rest of the game. But my rating on this, I give this game a 10 out of 10. Because like I said, the gameplay to me is smooth. Multiple hits on enemies, so the main character, he can dominate. Has their own personality. And the story is very well taken. You learn more and more about the Dark Genie, which is the main villain of the game. And the Dark Genie, to me, even though I'm not big on Dragon Ball Z, the Dark Genie looks like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z, the fat version. That's all I can tell you about him. But I give this game a 10 out of 10. If you guys do want to see me play this game, play it, walk through or playthrough so you can understand it more, leave a like. Let me know in this video and I'll do a playthrough on it. Because this game does have a sequel which is more cartoonish drawn, but it's also twice as hard. And trust me, what I mean by that is you would die multiple times in the first dungeon before you even get out of the first dungeon. That's how tough it is. But 10 out of 10 on gameplay, 10 out of 10 on story. I give it an 8 out of 10 on other category because some things do get annoying. Like I said, you can't plant yourself in overview mode anywhere. You only have a certain spot you can do. And then of course it's just a rough start in the beginning, but once you open up that first shop, then it becomes so easy. But this is it for our first Throwback Thursday review of a game that I played growing up. And I might do one on its sequel, which be honest with you, I haven't gotten far in ever. I never really gotten far in it because it's so tough. But I might do a sequel on that, or I might do another sequel on, or I might do another review on a different one. But let me know what you guys think of this game. If it's something you would recommend playing, or you would want to try playing, or if you just want to see me play it for you, I'm all good. But throwback, guys. We gotta keep these old games alive, because come on. I still remember Pac-Man being in arcades, when arcades was still a thing. That shows my age right there. But that'll be it for this one, guys. I hope you liked the first Throwback Thursday episode. I'm not going to do much gameplays, but I will talk about games. I might do movies or, music, things like that. But I hope you guys enjoy this. And I hope you all have yourselves a good day and have a good Christmas. Bye!